watching The 7 from WATE 6 on your side.
Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to The 7. Let's get a look at the big stories for you right now. And topping the list tonight, one man still trapped in a collapsed trench at a North Knox County construction site. The other man was put in an ambulance around 6:30 tonight. Now, this is footage of that first man being transferred to the Lifestar helicopter. We've been watching the effort to get the two out since rescuers arrived at the scene just before noon today. WATE 6 on your side reporter Kristen Gallant has been at the site for us all day long, keeping us up to date on the rescue effort. Kristen.
Bo, one man has just been airlifted out of here and is going to UT Medical Center. Another is still trapped underground. Now, at last check, the second man was conscious and they've made verbal contact with him. I was just told by Rural Metro's Jeff Bagwell that he is conscious and they have half of his body out. They've actually placed an IV in him as well. So they have made physical contact with that second person. We're not sure about any injuries at this point. The challenge here is that the soil is so wet that this site that they have to be very careful not to cause another collapse while they're trying to get both of these men out. Again, the first one is already out and has been transported by Lifestar to UT Medical Center. The second is still trapped.
We've been using a lot of wood, a lot of 2x10s, 2x12s to shore up the banks to work farther out from where the initial trench was, so that we can stabilize the ground so that we don't create a secondary collapse of more of the dirt on top of, especially now, that second individual that's still under the dirt.
Now, this is footage from earlier today. We're also told by Rural Metro's Jeff Bagwell that family and friends of the two men are on the scene. We're not sure how much longer it's going to take to get this second man out. But again, one man has been freed from this trench collapse and taken to UT Medical Center for evaluation by Lifestar. We'll stay on top of this for you. Also, you can follow it at WAT.com. All right, next in the Big 7, we are continuing to check on the Summit Towers residents who are looking at another night out of their home. Right now, we know the elevators in the building, which is located off Locust Street in downtown, still are not working. Many of the residents being cared for by the Red Cross are either elderly or disabled. Everyone living in Summit Towers has a story behind why they needed to go there in the first place. Some were homeless, unable to make a living to afford the average cost of rent. Others only have Social Security checks to depend on.
And I just got to a point that I wasn't functioning in a lot of ways. I lost everything I owned. I knew some undeveloped land in a surrounding county, and I bought a cheap tent and stayed out in the woods for 3 months.
They all say the Red Cross shelter at the Jacob building isn't perfect, but they are grateful they are not living on the street. The Red Cross says they are not taking any donations at this time. Knoxville Fire Department says hopefully at least one elevator will be working again tomorrow, but the timeline is still up in the air. For our next Big 7 story, we take you to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. The Supreme Court has blocked President Biden's vaccine or test mandate for private businesses with 100 or more employees, saying the administration does not have the authority to do that. Now, this comes as 500 million at-home rapid tests and high-quality masks will soon be available at no cost to Americans, as President Biden works now to fight against this latest wave of COVID.
We all wish that we could finally be done with wearing masks. I get it. But they're a really important tool to stop the spread, especially of a highly transmittable Omicron variant.
The highly contagious Omicron variant is responsible for an estimated 98% of all new infections. More than 20,000 virus-positive Americans are being hospitalized on average every day. 1,000 military doctors and nurses will be deployed now to 6 states next week to help ease the strain for healthcare workers. The government will also be shipping millions of tests to schools across the country. Back here at home today, the University of Tennessee Medical Center reported a small increase in the number of patients at the hospital. When you take a look, you can see all the way over here on the right side, that little bump there on that last bar graph. Matter of fact, the number of COVID patients now 112 at UT Medical. 78% of these people, by the way, are unvaccinated. Our next Big 7 story is a topic that affects everyone. We're talking about inflation. It has spiked to the highest rate in 40 years, raising the prices of goods, especially food. Now, we spoke with a Knoxville food blogger who has some advice on how you can save at the supermarket. She says start with buying non-perishables in bulk.
What's going to happen, you're not going to pick up all of those cute random things. I'm hungry, so I'm picking up extra cookies that I don't really need or that I'm not really going to eat. So a lot of these grocery stores now, it's free curbside. So just load up your cart, stick to your recipe and your family's needs, and you're going to save a lot of money that way as well.
You know, she also says you want to buy store brand if you can. That can shave off some extra money. And check the sell-by date, but don't be intimidated by it. If you want to check out Krista's food blog, DeSocio in the Kitchen, well, we'll post a link to it with this story on WATE.com. Check it out there. Next on our list for you, a local man involved in the January 6th insurrection was in federal court today where he entered a guilty plea. Now, Knoxville man Cliff Meteer was seen walking through the Capitol building, well, for half an hour, protesting election results. The FBI raided Meteer's home back in August following tips from relatives and old friends on Facebook. Meteer was arrested after the raid but was released on his own recognizance. Well, today's guilty plea stems from just one of the charges he is facing: parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Now, he did not plead guilty to the other 3 charges he is facing. His sentencing, by the way, is set for April 21st. Next on the Big 7, KPD used new license plate reader technology to find a missing man. The new technology includes the flock cameras that we've been telling you about. Chief Eve Thomas says finding this man shows just how the system enhances KPD's public safety capabilities. Around 8 p.m. on Tuesday, officers were called to a home on Dandridge Avenue where an 85-year-old man had gone missing. The man reportedly suffered from dementia and had left home in a gray truck. Well, officers searched through the license plate reader system, which had recorded seeing the truck in the Fort Sanders area. Police found the truck on Neyland Drive and got the man home safely. And rounding out the Big 7 for you tonight, it's Tennessee football's off-season, but there was still some work being done at Neyland Stadium today. Take a look. Construction is underway in hopes of enhancing the fan experience. Work began early the Sunday after the Vols season finale against Vanderbilt. The renovations include chairback seating and a field-level club with access to restrooms, a bar area, and food on the lower west sideline section. But the biggest addition will be a new video board to the north side of the stadium, as well as a party deck. Now, take a look here for a moment. I want to show you the renderings of the final product. The orange is the new seating along the west sideline. You're seeing some views of the new video board in the north end, as well as that party deck we were just telling you about. The project is expected to be completed by September 1st, just before the season opener.